Okay, so now we're at the Child Advocacy Center and I'm going to show you around the rooms. Okay. So this is the waiting room where children and their families come to wait, and there's a TV and a bunch of toys around for everyone. So interview room, the walls are soundproof for the child's protection so nobody finds out about what they're talking about. Here's another interview room, and as you can see, there's a lot of comfortable chairs to make everyone who's being interviewed feel comfortable, and it's very child friendly. These TVs are to the cameras in the interview rooms so the detectives can watch the interviews going on. And over here, okay, this is where they take pictures of the abuse and they are self-sufficient. So, what do you do for the Child Advocacy Center?
My job responsibility, my job title is caseworker, child protective investigator. There is an abuse team here. Basically what we do is we work as a multidisciplinary team. It includes child protective, DA's office, the YAB, the Youth Aid Bureau, Schenectady Police Department, and other agencies. We have the rape crisis centers, some other community agencies. And we kind of work together in a joint effort to not only investigate, alleged child abuse, but also to kind of lessen the impact it has on the family. Part of the reason we work together as a team, when a report comes in to us initially, we make a referral over to the police department, and then we'll gather all the players up, usually start with the victims, alleged victims I should say, and usually start our interviews down here at the Child Advocacy Center. This way the child only has to be interviewed per se one time, as opposed to being interviewed 3 different times, by us, then by the police, then by the DA's office. It's bad enough that a child has to go through such a traumatic event, then to have to repeat it 3 times to 3 different people. So it's better to do it all at one time. So we start with the interviews with the kid or the alleged subject and go from there. And it kind of just rolls from there. I mean, how deep do you want me to get into it?
I was just wondering, how would you address the question to the child so that you make them feel comfortable here?
It's a process. You go through some training, some forensic interviewing techniques, and really it's, you start off building a rapport with the child. I mean, you don't just jump into asking, deep personal questions. You really got to get in and build a rapport to them and kind of relate to them. And you can, you can tell when the child is ready or the child has built a good enough rapport with you to touch base on some of the more personal questions that you need to ask.
If I was we just need a question on if I was in school, how would somebody spot a case of abuse? Because not a lot of people know that somebody's being abused, and you said you wanted to skip that whole step of interviewing the child. So how would somebody go about talking to a child who has been abused in school, or even spot a case of it?
That's a situational question. I mean, there's so many different red flags. It all depends what you're talking about. There's different kinds of abuse. There's sexual abuse. There's physical abuse. Mm-hmm. It gets as deep as emotional abuse. I mean, being in the field for a while, you see the red flags. I mean, certain kids are withdrawn. Certain kids, come to school and they're not dressed appropriately, their hygiene is poor. There's a lot of different red flags. You really can't pinpoint just one. But you'd be surprised that a lot of kids come to school and they want to talk to you. They seek out teachers to talk to, and they seek out social workers, school nurses, people that they've built a relationship with. So it comes out in a lot of different ways.
Okay. Do you say you see more common types of abuse here than others, or is it a variety? Like,
I don't think there's any one in particular type of abuse. It's pretty widespread physical abuse. Physical discipline that got a little excessive, which led to more serious injuries, and sexual abuse. So there is a variety.
the worst cases you've seen here?
I'm sorry?
What are some of the worst cases you've seen?
Worst cases. How about a 25-year-old male dating a 21-year-old girlfriend having oral sex with her 3-year-old daughter?
That's rad. So do you interview the children here, or what goes on here that has to do with the case?
Every interview a kid down here, it's because it just happens. 99% of the time, we're down to 106 Erie Boulevard, the CAC, the Child Advocacy Center.
Right.
But sometimes a mother will come down there, the desk officer or report taker says, I got this. And all of a sudden we're talking, and all of a sudden if the child is freely talking about it, I'm not going to stop them. And that's our policy. If the kid is going to freely talk about what happened, why say, okay, let's go down to the other atmosphere. We don't go down to 106. Like I said, we'll do most of the interviews down there because it's child friendly. But if a mom or dad brings their daughter or son down here and they start talking freely, we're never going to stop them because you want them to talk.
What is the maximum sentence for like perpetrators that come in here?
In New York State law, you are considered an adult at the age of 16.
Okay.
All right. So if you're under 16, you're considered a juvenile, and you could do 18 months at a secure place like Tryon or facility like that. Also, depending on the nature of the crime, you could get longer. We locked up a 13-year-old male who forcibly raped a 15-year-old girl on the golf course behind Northeast Parent. That because of the nature of the crime, that 13-year-old, because it was rape one and forced on her, he was tried as an adult. Even though he was 13 at the time, he's registered as a sex offender. So he's going to be a registered sex offender the rest of his life.
A Child Advocacy Center is a child-focused, community-oriented, facility-based program in which representatives from many disciplines meet to discuss and make decisions about investigation, treatment, and prosecution of child abuse. They also work to prevent further victimization of children.